Edition of Strawman Trust Productions. I'm your host, Johnny Strawman, and it is Word Up Wednesday. Now, the word for this week is ejectment. It was posed by someone yesterday during Tell All Tuesday, but I didn't have the time to answer it, so I figured why not make it the word of the week. Ejectment is an archaic term. In other words, it's very old. It's not really used too much nowadays. There are other terms that are used in its stead, but ultimately, ejectment refers to an action, a common law action that's brought in civil court to regain title or possession of property by someone who was deprived of it, generally the rightful owner. So let's just say a bank comes through and tries to foreclose on your home and gets you out, but you figure out later watching Johnny Strawman's videos that what they did was unlawful, and so you bring in action of ejectment, and what you can do is you can beat them and regain your property. Now, this applies to your Sesticate trust, anything Social Security, all these different accounts that they're having you pay into that are really insurance accounts. They're claiming or something different. It really applies to all of that. So if you were to take an action of ejectment and attempt to recover what has been taken from you, even onto hereditary titles. Let's say I'm a lord, you're my son, I pass the title of the lord of the land that I am, or that I am the lord of, rather. I pass it to you, and in doing so, in the course of that action, some nefarious actor comes through and is able to intercept that exchange and claim it for themselves in whatever way. At the end of the day, an ejectment action would allow you to be able to file suit against that nefarious actor and reclaim your property, reclaim your title, whatever the case may be. That's really the long and short of it. However, if you don't mind and you have a couple of minutes, I would like to read the extended version of the term from Black's Law Dictionary, first edition, which was put together in 1891. So, ejectment. At common law, this was the name of a mixed action springing from the earlier personal action of ejection firme, which lay for the recovery of the possession of land and for damages for the unlawful detention of its possession. The action was highly fictitious, being in theory only for the recovery of a term for years and brought by a purely fictitious person as lessee in a supposed lease from the real property and interest. The latter's title, however, must be established in order to warrant a recovery, and the establishment of such title, though nominally a mere incident, is in reality the object of the whole action. Hence, the convenient form of suit came to be adopted as the usual method of trying titles to land. It was the only mixed action at common law, the whole method of proceeding in which was anomalous, in other words, unique or uncommon, and dependent on fictions invented and upheld by the court for the convenience of justice in order to escape from the inconveniences which were found to attend the ancient forms of real and mixed actions. It is also a form of action by which possessory titles to corporal hereditaments may be tried and possession obtained. Again, titles, things that are passed down from your father, your mother, any of those types of things, real property, could all be the subject matter of an ejectment action. Now, these days, generally, if you brought a suit into civil court and wanted to argue that your property was wrongfully taken from you and converted to someone else's use, it would be called unlawful conversion. Now, unlawful conversion is like trespass to chattel, which is what you would say if you went into a civil suit. You wouldn't say theft. They wouldn't understand that. There would be no code or reading for that in a civil case. It's called trespass to chattel, or trespass to property, or unlawful conversion. Unlawful conversion is when someone takes something from you and converts it to their use. And in an unlawful conversion action, it's relatively easy to be able to cause the offender to have to pay for the entire thing. So let's say I have a mode of conveyance outside, and you and your buddy are walking by, and you see it. Let's just say I left the keys in there. Doesn't matter if I leave the keys in there; you still can't take it. But you go ahead and jump in the car, you and your buddy drive off, and you're gone for a week. Well, the nice policy officers find my car and give it back to me. But because you took it for so long and converted it to your use for so long, I can say, I don't want it back. I want the money for it. I want full value for it. You see what I mean? So that's unlawful conversion, and the remedy for that is generally a specific performance where they force you to pay for the mode of conveyance. So that's really going to be what you're looking at. Let's say you have to bring it home in a commercial redemption. You're trying to go after your Sesticate trust. You're trying to go after all the monies you've paid in to various programs and things like that, and you want taxes and everything, and you're trying to get that back. That would be a form of ejectment that you would use and show the unlawful conversion, or rather, you would postulate the unlawful conversion and back it up with whatever evidence you had, but going to show that they took your money, they took your credits, whatever you want to call them, they took your titles, your property, and converted it to their use, they being Uncle Scam and his nefarious agents. So, ejectment on its face ultimately is synopsized a common law term for a civil action to recover the possession of title to land or hereditaments. Hereditary titles are included in this, as well as any type of chattels or anything that are passed down to you from your father, your mother, anyone. Now, bringing it back home again to the Sesticate Trust, this would be an action to be able to regain control, or rather gain control for the first time, because they never gave you control of your Sesticate Trust, your strawman, your transmitting utility, ultimately the corporate fiction, the trust that they set up in your name in order to rob you blind. Ejectment is one form of action under the common law that you can take to try to rectify the wrongs that have been perpetrated against you, and to ultimately obtain the remedy that you want, which is the recovery of your property. Now, hopefully that was informative. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself. I definitely enjoyed myself. I always do when I'm on here. So if you have any further questions or any words you want definitions to, you be sure to let me know. But in the meantime, stay tuned, stay sovereign, and do not consent.